Have you ever found the courage to step away from a relationship with a narcissist, cutting all contact, only to wonder what's going on in their scheming mind? Are they drowning in despair, tormented by the loss of their familiar prey, or are they crafting intricate plans to pull you back into their web of manipulation? Escaping a narcissist is never an easy journey. Beyond the emotional wounds that need healing, you also face the demons within their mind. This video will serve as your compass, guiding you through the darkest corners of a narcissist's psyche when you decide to disappear. Together, we'll peel back their masks layer by layer, exposing their hidden hopes, sinister calculations, and psychological games designed to reel you in, manipulate you, and punish you. You'll gain a deeper understanding of the real motives behind their actions, helping you strengthen your resolve and protect yourself from their dangerous traps. Your brave decision to leave a toxic relationship with a narcissist, cutting all ties, strikes their carefully constructed fantasy world like a sudden shock. Every tactic a narcissist uses follows an emotional sequence designed to serve their distorted ego. Nearly 90% of them follow this psychological progression. Number 1, the silence. At first, they go silent, waiting patiently, convinced that you will soon return, begging for forgiveness. They indulge in blind confidence, certain that you'll crumble under the weight of their familiar manipulations. They bet on your compassion, empathy, and lingering traumas from the past that you're struggling to escape. Narcissists see themselves as the center of your universe, an indispensable part of your life, and they exploit this belief to control you. Like a cat playing with a helpless mouse, they relish the feeling of control, manipulation, and keeping their prey within their grasp. They don't fear losing you because, in their twisted world, you're merely a toy to satisfy their enormous ego. Remember, narcissists are masters at using silence as a weapon of manipulation. This time, they'll resort to it again, hoping you'll be consumed by guilt and regret, eventually crawling back to seek reconciliation. But what happens when the small mouse escapes the sharp claws? When you stand firm in your decision, how will they react and what challenges will you face next? Let's explore. Number 2, they launch panic attacks. When you step out of the eye of their manipulation storm, panic begins to take hold of the narcissist's mind, and you find yourself facing a new battle, an all-out assault across every possible medium to force a response from you. This is the moment when every tool in the narcissist's arsenal is deployed to its fullest: texts, emails, social media, and even incessant phone calls. You might find yourself bombarded with dozens or even hundreds of messages, ranging from innocent to desperate or heavily accusatory. But their efforts won't stop at online methods. When messages and calls fail to produce the desired effect, they might escalate by showing up unexpectedly at your home or workplace. These unannounced encounters are their way of demanding your attention. They will pursue you, put you in awkward situations, and apply pressure to force you to respond or even give in. They might interrogate you with questions they already know the answers to, like, "Why did you leave me?" or "Why are you silent?" They'll accuse you of being a traitor, cold-hearted, or insincere. They'll do whatever it takes to make you answer, react, and explain yourself. For a narcissist, provoking arguments isn't about resolving issues or determining right from wrong. It's about goading you. They want to see you lose your composure, become confused, and exhaust your energy. In their distorted reality, boundaries are a foreign concept. They believe others exist solely to serve their needs, and you are no exception. Your departure strips them of control, delivering a sharp blow to their inflated ego. They react with desperation, acting recklessly to drag you back into their web of control. Stay vigilant, firm, and never look back. True freedom, happiness, and peace only come when you completely escape the shadow of a narcissist. When they realize they can't use brute force to manipulate you, they will quickly pivot to a more cunning strategy. Let's meet and work things out. Number 3, hoovering. If you've followed my videos, you're likely familiar with the no-contact strategy, one of the most effective methods for dealing with narcissists. However, many people have shared that after some time of no contact, just when they thought they had escaped the manipulative vortex of the narcissist and their emotional wounds had started to heal, they suddenly receive an email or a call from an unknown number. On the other end of the line, The ex earnestly requests a meeting just to explain or offer one final apology before ending the relationship. And then, those who believe they were immune to the narcissist's charm, those who thought they had become strong enough to move on, find themselves once again falling into that sweet deceptive trap. They agree to meet with an open mind, ready to listen and forgive, only to be drawn back into the familiar cycle of manipulation. Be cautious. When you're determined to break free from a narcissist's toxic web, they won't let you go easily. They'll deploy familiar tactics that have worked on you before, with love bombing being one of their favorites. Like a pre-programmed script, relationships with narcissists typically follow 4 stages: idealization, devaluation, discard, and finally, hoovering. During this final stage, they won't hesitate to evoke the honeymoon phase of your relationship. Like a slow-motion reel meant to captivate you, they'll recreate the sweet words, loving gestures, and romantic actions that once swept you off your feet. The narcissist will transform into a master of romance, replaying the same sweet love story, lulling you into the illusion of genuine love and a miraculous change. They'll whisper honeyed words like, "We've shared so many beautiful memories. Do you really want to throw it all away?" Or, "I just want us to work through this together. I truly care about how you feel." But stay vigilant, it's all a facade. Their ultimate goal is to pull you back into their cycle of manipulation, perpetuating the painful loop of idealization, devaluation, and discard once again. Number 4, the role of the repentant sinner. When their love-bombing campaign fails to sway you, the narcissist will adopt a new role: the victim in their own story. They won't stop at playing the part of the pitiful soul, but will fabricate tragic tales filled with wounds and injustices, painting themselves as the suffering underdog. Even though they were the ones causing pain, they won't hesitate to portray themselves as the wronged party, claiming you oppressed and abused them without mercy. They'll transform into master actors, complete with tears streaming down their faces, choked voices, and apologies so seemingly sincere that you might believe they're enduring unspeakable pain. They'll paint a bright future, featuring a perfect version of themselves, accompanied by grand promises of change, reform, and vows never to hurt you again. They want you to believe they've genuinely recognized their faults and will completely transform. But be cautious. Apologies such as, "I'm sorry you felt hurt," or "I'm sorry you feel that way," are merely sweet traps they've laid out. They're not truly repentant. They're just setting you up for the next chapters of their toxic drama. Remember, narcissists are master manipulators and extraordinary performers who can easily mask their true nature with tears and words. You may hope, you may forgive, but ultimately, you'll realize that nothing changes. The cycle of hurt, apology, and hurt continues, leaving you drained and gradually eroding your confidence. Have you ever been in this situation? If so, share your experiences in the comments below. Number 5. They hope to manipulate you using what you need. If they have anything you need or want, they will try to deprive you of it. This could be tangible things, like the car they once promised to buy, or intangible ones, like love and care. If you refuse to tolerate their bad behavior and leave, they'll withhold what you desire. Their goal is to make you feel like you're the problem, the one destroying the relationship. Moreover, they might apply financial pressure by deliberately creating shared debts or using your name to borrow money, trapping you in a cycle of debt and making you feel stuck. All of these actions are designed to render you entirely dependent on them, both financially and emotionally, so you feel incapable of leaving the toxic relationship. Number 6. They hope to sabotage your relationship with someone new. A narcissist, with their enormous ego and fragile self-esteem, can never accept the fact that you might be happy without them. Once your emotional wounds have healed and you've found peace and new love, they will simmer in jealousy and resentment. In their twisted minds, your ability to overcome the pain and find true happiness is an insult, a severe blow to their oversized ego. Thus, they'll do everything they can to sabotage your new happiness. They won't hesitate to spread malicious rumors, fabricate stories about your past, and distort the truth to tarnish your reputation and ruin your image in the eyes of your new partner. If given the chance, they may even approach your new partner, wearing a mask of concern, or warn them about your terrible character. Their goal isn't just to drive a wedge between you and your new love, but also to plant seeds of shame, insecurity, and self-doubt in your mind. They want you to feel guilty, unworthy of happiness, and believe that you'll never escape their shadow. But remember, such underhanded actions only reveal the narcissist's weakness, helplessness, and fear of losing control. It doesn't reflect who you are or diminish the value of your new relationship. The happiness you found is the clearest testament to your strength, resilience, and ability to overcome their darkness. Don't let the narcissist's schemes shake your confidence or steal the joy you deserve. Number 7, they hope to make you jealous of their new supply. In their rage over your departure, a narcissist becomes like a wounded beast, frantically trying to drag you back into their familiar lair. At the same time, they quickly seek out a new supply to fill the void you left behind. The harsh truth is that they cannot bear solitude, not because they miss you, but because their enormous ego constantly needs emotional fuel from others. They crave admiration, submission, and a new puppet to control. Social media becomes the perfect stage for this deceptive charade. They'll flaunt happy photos with their new partner, not just to boast, but to launch a psychological attack against you. Those images are like poison-tipped arrows, meant to pierce your heart with doubts and insecurities, making you question, am I the problem? Have they found someone better than me? But stay clear-headed. It's all part of a twisted psychological game. The new relationship is merely a shiny mask, concealing the emptiness within, a tool for maintaining their perfect image and satisfying their thirst for power. They may even recreate things you once longed for, plans you dreamed about, romantic trips, or loving gestures they never gave you. They want you to see their new partner enjoying the things you once wished for, leaving you tormented and believing they've changed for someone else. But the truth is, a leopard doesn't change its spots. They're merely repeating the same manipulative patterns to seduce and control their new prey, who will inevitably fall into the same toxic cycle. Remember, narcissists aren't looking for genuine love or meaningful connections. What they seek is a new supply to exploit, use, and dominate. Your departure doesn't make them change. It only drives them to find another victim. But never let this make you doubt your worth. You deserve true love, authentic happiness, and a relationship where you are respected, cherished, and valued. Number 8, they hope to haunt you. When all their cunning tactics fail and the mask of deception is torn away, the narcissist plays their final card, planting seeds of regret and shame in your mind. They don't just wait for you to feel guilty. They actively orchestrate actions to provoke those emotions. They might use social media or mutual friends to amplify your guilt. They could post emotionally charged statements like, "The deepest pain is trusting someone only to be betrayed," or fabricate stories that sway mutual friends to take their side. They aim to create a social pressure bubble, isolating you and pushing you to return to right your wrongs. In their distorted reality, you are not just responsible for everything, but also the betrayer, the heartless one, and the cruel person who has hurt them. With their inflated ego and wounded pride, they fantasize about you crawling back, begging for forgiveness, and pleading for another chance, not out of love, but to satisfy their thirst for control. Don't be mistaken. Their desire doesn't stem from love or sincerity. It's fueled by a hunger for power, a need to manipulate and reassert dominance over you. They don't want your heart. They want your submission, to prove that even after you've left, they remain the center of your life. For them, your return isn't reconciliation. It's a victory. It's a reaffirmation of their absolute power and their position as the ruler in this calculated love game. The moment you take even a small step back toward them, they know they've won, not through love, but through ruthless manipulation. Number 9, they hope to improve their image in your eyes. Narcissists crave attention and admiration from others, especially from you, the one they once manipulated and controlled. So when you leave, they seize every opportunity to prove they've changed, hoping to restore their perfect image in your eyes. To achieve this, they might make superficial changes or display grand gestures to catch your attention. They might start working out to achieve a perfect physique, Enroll in courses to appear ambitious, or actively participate in charity work to build the image of a kind-hearted, compassionate person. These curated moments will be showcased cleverly on social media, ensuring you'll see them. They hope you'll be impressed by their transformation, compare them to your new partner, and realize you were wrong to leave. They want you to feel jealous, regretful, and ultimately driven back into their arms. But remember, it's all an illusion. These external changes do not reflect true internal growth. The narcissist remains the same, with their oversized ego, fragile self-esteem, and relentless desire for control. Their ultimate goal is still to manipulate you, make you dependent, and have you under their dominance once more. Number 10. They still hope you'll return to them. No matter how cold, indifferent, or even cruel they may appear on the surface, deep within the narcissist's conflicted and wounded heart lies a burning desire, a faint hope that you will return. They crave your return like a moth drawn to a flame, heedless of the pain and danger. However, don't be fooled. This longing doesn't come from genuine love or remorse for the harm they've caused. It stems from their oversized ego, their wounded pride, and their pathological need for control. Your return would be like a powerful drug, healing their bruised ego and affirming their strength and absolute authority. In the narcissist's eyes, your return equates to you admitting fault, accepting defeat, and surrendering to their dominance. It's a triumphant validation that they still hold the trump card in your life. They revel in the sense of victory, basking in the pride and satisfaction of their ability to manipulate and control others. A narcissist may paint vivid pictures of a happy future, promising a better life if you come back. They'll use sweet words and fake gestures of care to entice and lull you into a fantasy dream. But stay alert. Beneath this facade is a cunning and manipulative individual who thrives on control and thrives on pushing others down. Returning to a narcissist means stepping back into a living nightmare. You'll once again endure their twisted psychological games, subtle manipulations, and devastating emotional wounds. Be brave enough to let go of illusions, step decisively out of their shadow, and seek true happiness where you are loved, respected, and cherished. When you find the courage to leave a toxic relationship with a narcissist, remember that you've accomplished something extraordinary. You've chosen to free yourself from a cycle of manipulation, control, and perpetual emotional harm. Cutting off contact is the first step and the most crucial one on the path to healing and finding genuine happiness. Don't let the narcissist's hopes, expectations, or schemes shake your resolve. Focus on yourself, nurture your mental health, and build healthy relationships. You deserve a life of freedom, peace, and happiness. A life where you are loved, respected, and valued. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. There are loved ones, friends, and support networks ready to help you through the challenges. Stay strong, resilient, and trust in yourself, because after the storm, the sun will shine, and true happiness awaits you ahead. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.